Or, you know, like images, you find that there's a front page of a magazine that you want to illustrate something quite sensitive. It could be a story about, you know, people, HIV positive people. It could be stories touching on children. Do you treat, you see, there's the Children's Act that guides editors on how you can publish an image. You need authority from either a parent or a guardian. But now, once you generate, you know, an image of a child using AI, I mean, how do you navigate that? Yeah, can you, if you're talking, if it's a story about children who are suffering from HIV and AIDS, sorry to go back to that again. Do you know, conceal their faces? It's generated using AI, or, you know, such subtle and very, they might look like they are little, but, you know, they impact on even how fast you put out our products out there.
Can I just say one thing? I know it's coming back to this thing where I say we need to be transparent with our readers, we need to be transparent. In that scenario where you're using AI to generate images of children in difficult circumstances, they're not real kids, they're just imagery. I think I would put it out there that this is, because we know what the Children's Act says and what our ethics say. We cannot put images of children in difficult circumstances or whatever. So putting out there that this is an AI-generated imagery is not devaluing your journalism. It's essentially reinforcing that we know we are ethically bound not to put images of children in difficult circumstances. But we are using technology that is now available to create an imagery of something to illustrate our story. But I would say that this is generated. I'm not saying you put each and everything out there. I mean, then we'd have to go to town and say, we analyze this data using this. It's not, I mean, I'm just saying, it's a conversation, and I am so happy we're having it now, not here, but at least that dilemma is presenting itself. Because if I'm doing a visualization for a story, if I used AI to generate that image, should we, as a news organization, say that? I don't know. Jury is out on there. I mean, I just wanted to put it out there. It's a beautiful dilemma to have. But for me, I think the benefits of being transparent is also playing into the educating our audiences that actually kuna kitu kama hii, na ukiona next time uliza swali, like you're saying, don't publish too fast, you know, all that. But you need to know that there's technology that can make these things like this. Sorry, I'm sorry to jump in, but I could.
That's very valuable.
Thank you, Catherine. It's getting better and deeper. We'll ask, in the next few minutes, we'll open it to everyone to comment or ask questions. But my question to Philip, and thanks a lot, Catherine, for those insights. I know Catherine gets passionate when something hits her, and thank you for that. Philip, what gap are you seeing in our newsrooms today as we try to navigate AI adoption and the challenges it brings, especially when it comes to issues of fact-checking?
I think the first one is transparency, like you mentioned. That's the main one. The other is, I don't know, there's this, and I think that maybe speaks to what Kiberenga is saying. There's this mortal fear that a journalist cannot use AI. That I need to say I used Grammarly to do the story. You know, so sometimes I feel it's good to mention some things, but others you never used to say I used what I used to do this, or this photographer used exactly which camera did they use. So I don't think that's the main one, but generally it's the lack of and the gap here is what are the limits? Do we have limits? He's talked about, you asked about AI policies in the newsrooms, and I can bet you many don't have it. And even if they do, if you try to go and question, majority of the time they just have it there maybe for, I'm not speaking for any media house, for ISO certification or other things to be seen like we are part of it. But in terms of trainings in terms of understanding how to use AI as an everyday tool, but also making sure that these young journalists, because also the other problem with the newsroom is very many brains from before out, so you have sometimes the whole newsroom that the oldest person is like 27. So at this point, it's not, you cannot blame them because there is no institutional knowledge on this is what you're supposed to do. So majority of them are actually there just because they're content creators. So they're not exactly journalists. So when you bring them to the newsroom, I used to do this on my own, now I'm doing the same here. So in terms of trying the gatekeeping, in terms of understanding it, in terms of trying to make sure that you train everyone to understand what AI is and also how to use it. So those are some of the gaps to use, and also with the transparency also, I don't have a problem with if it helps you, but if it writes your whole story, I have a problem because, and sometimes you can pick those in the newsroom when you give somebody to do something live, and then you can see they're taking like 1 hour to do a story, yet when you tell them to do something else, they give it to you within 2 minutes. So at that point you can tell they have to listen, they have to transcribe, they have to figure out what the angle is before they take it to AI. So you can usually see that, but I don't have a point with AI is when you over-rely on it, such that anytime you give a story, we even saw one media house, they forgot to generate this story for me, and then they put it on social, the prompt at the front, and then when they put it on Instagram, and we saw that, like, everybody was like, so why do you go to school for 4 years? I'm not saying don't use it, but don't let it do the homework for you. Yeah, thank you. Oh, sorry.
I'm coming to this side. Ellen, what do you think is the role of tech giants, the media itself, policy actors, and other organizations, either private, national or international, as far as adoption of AI by media industry is concerned, and as far as ensuring that media is using AI ethically?
People thought this thing is coming to take our jobs. And now we are talking about the potential opportunities for everyone on AI. So these organizations have to accept that being in transition, it will take time and different times for different people and organizations, depending on what they seek to achieve. That we will develop policies. We must get to the point of education and then find a way to help in the implementation, execution of adopting, absorbing, working with AI in our day-to-day lives.
Thank you. The last question before we open to the other participants. Kenfrey, where do you see journalism in the next 10 years? And when you see that journalism in 10 years to come, what do we need to do today?
Wow. Actually, for me, it's both exciting and scary. What Philip was talking about, I think I had someone calling it the juniorization of newsrooms, so that people like us, we are the last ones in the newsrooms, and we have to keep checking our time. So I think there will be a lot of automations moving forward. I know in Asia, in Europe, and even US, there's a lot of that going on right now. I think somewhere like in Malaysia, you find that power prices fluctuate every hour. And so, because you can't just keep doing that story to be boring, it's like our prices, fuel prices that we do every 14th of the month. So imagine having to do that story every hour, and your readers are waiting for when the prices are at the lowest, when they go lower, so that they can buy. So you just deploy a robot to generate such a story, and there are sections within websites that are just dedicated to AI-generated content. So I think moving forward, we'll be seeing a lot of automations, but if we do not take precautions right now, then we are going to be, just churning out information just for the sake of it, which really is not journalism. At the heart of it, when we are like before you send out a news alert, you still have to go take it through the journalistic steps, confirmation, verification, all that. It doesn't matter who else can beat you to publishing this story. So we need to preserve those standards, and we have to do it right now. And that means upskilling. One problem I see actually within the media sector, and which speaks to the heart of like Kenya Editors Guild. Editors are the most senior people within the newsrooms. So you find that they will tend to look down upon colleagues who are using AI. I'm sure it happened when the transition from typewriters to computers. So this is another moment for journalism, which senior colleagues must oversee and supervise and ensure that they are not left behind by that bandwagon, because many of them will fall by the wayside. And in that transition, a lot of harm can happen to journalism. So upskilling, and when I mean upskilling, when there's a training for AI for journalists, do not just send out the interns and the younger colleagues. Attempt. Go learn what is 11 Labs. How can you use actually you need to learn how to do a deepfake video for you to keep tabs with these technological advancements. So yes, just preserving journalistic standards right now, upskilling, and just watching the trends.
Thank you, Philip. You want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to say that I agree, some things will be automated. Like every 14th, even at least we stopped using pain at the pump. Every journalist used to love that one whenever the prices would go up. Right now it's just pain for everything. So there will be some things that will be automated. But as smart as AI is about to be, it still cannot tell the real human story. Hyper local. Those stories where it will never have human emotion. So it doesn't know how to tell a story that makes you as a reader to kind of get all the emotion. So from all these mandamanos, when you visit that parent of that kid who's being shot dead, and they talk about that, or the effects of somebody whose businesses is up in flames, those stories, and you can see that even on these social media platforms, is these people who are telling these stories. Sometimes it's as easy as these people who just go asking people questions on the streets, you find they're very, very big numbers because people are still craving those human interaction stories. Sometimes they look funny when you just sit there and just ask people. There's this one, I think it's a show, I only see the snippets. I think it's a dating thing, that balloon thing. You see, like, everybody knows about it, but AI will never replicate that. As dumb as it is, it's just showing you this human, just human-to-human interaction and kind of direct feelings. Those ones will never go away, and I do not care how much Grok becomes smart. At least yesterday we saw it going demonic, and it had to be shut down. But those.
Thank you very much. John Godia, you clearly see this should have been a retreat in Naivasha for us to dissect well, but thank you for the luncheon. But we hope the retreat is coming. Here, then we go to Mayaka, then we go there.
Now, we have no choice but to embrace this. It's only that we were not prepared for it. We didn't see it coming. So we are struggling to fit into it, but somehow we must embrace it to drive the conversations that we are driving. Now, I have a certain dilemma around this war, and because I deploy my editing from a very conservative point of view, I'm a student of Dorothy here. Clay, allow me to evoke your name somewhere. I'll do it positively for the purpose of learning. Clay writes a column for one of our platforms, which I edit his page, and I have some history with him. If I were to remove one paragraph from Clay's column, just one paragraph, I'll have a nightmare weekend with Clay. Because he will write to me that, oh, you made me sound illiterate, that's not what I wanted to say. And we will have another conversation, or he will turn it into a column the next session. He will write that I removed the paragraph. And it becomes a nice quarrel. Now, why did I say that? And I like it like that. Because then, if Clay is offended, I get to know that this column is written by a human being who is able to see that this paragraph was removed, who has got emotions. So when Clay writes into the newspaper, there is a human being with emotions, with blood in his veins, writing, expressing his thoughts around something. Now my question is this, and I said that I look at this thing from a fairly conservative area. Is a letter to the editor written by a student of this university, written by a tool? How much of that letter is the student? How much of that letter is the student? If you are a university professor and you are writing a column, an opinion, a student recently educated me on how to measure how much content is AI. If I use that tool that I was trained and I realize that Kiverenge, there is actually no Kiverenge in this text, should I give you credit? Should we come up with a mechanism of disclosure? This thing is written by Dorothy Kweyu, but it was assisted by a tool. Should that disclosure be there, or will it reflect that she's not talented enough to write? Because there is also it's an ethical issue to have a tool write for you and want to take credit for it. Isn't it? When you want to know that this is a maker writing this column, not a tool assisting him in his thought process, where do I get your originality as an op-ed editor? I don't get to know whether it is you writing or a tool writing, but you taking credit for it. And by the way, a lot of senior names are sending opinions, op-eds into newspapers that are written by tools. people at the level of cabinet secretaries who cannot relate with the content that we have published in their name written by a tool. How do we address that dilemma? Should there be some disclosure kuwa hii Catherine niliandika, lakini there was another animal that assisted me in the thought process?
Thank you very much. We will get a response for that, then we come to this side. Catherine, you wanted to make a response?
No, I was just going to speak to what, I mean, the level to which you can go into looking into asking, like, what Jack was talking about, imagery, crediting and attribution. And in my head, I just thought about just saying it's another dilemma we need to think about. It's the same thing like my brother here is talking about somebody who is a cabinet secretary and using I'm just saying the dilemma of who owns this image I create with AI when the data behind the teaching of this tool belong to somebody else. Exactly. It is theirs. I mean, the original data wasn't ours. Tumetumia tukakorogashana, tukachanganisha, we created, but the pilipili is made up of, or the kachumbari is made up of all these different things, and all of them belong to somebody, and we haven't attributed. I mean, it's just a dilemma which, at some point you say, do we go down that rabbit hole, or do we draw a line and say, I can't go beyond that. I wouldn't even know how many staff was. I mean, I'm just saying it's a beautiful dilemma. Sorry, I'm sorry I put the canary, whatever they call it in English, but it's just something we need to think of.
Thank you very much. Let me take 2 questions from this side so that when I come here, we wrap. There's a hand here. Here's, oh, here.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. My concern is, over the years, the workforce in the newsrooms has been disseminated progressively. It would be interesting to know, say, the Nation. The Standard is slightly much older, but the Nation, which is just about 60 years, how many people have been handling a story before it comes onto the pages? During my time in the newsroom, I could be assigned at some far-flung areas, say like Tana River, cover a story there, dash to the nearest phone booth, if it is working, reverse the call to my bureau in Mombasa. It will be received by a reporter there, who will do the story, give it to the telex man. The telex person, because of their time on the machine, could also edit our stories and then send it to the newsroom. It will be sent to the sub-editor. The sub-editor will eventually send it to the Stone sub-editor. And the chain was long. But today with the AI, I'm getting the impression it will reach a time when only one person can handle the story before it goes into the pages.
Thank you very much. Last question or final thought?
Thank you, Francis. So my prompt, as you said, is going to be very direct, and I think it goes to Ellen, maybe Kiberenge, and also you, Francis. The guys who actually worked on the AI policy, which I believe also got its way into the updated MCK Code of Conduct. So my question is, what confidence do you have in the policy that you created for this? Thank you.
Can I take that before, as I move to Ellen? The code of what we created was actually a super highway for the use of technology. It does not tie only to AI, because technology will continue advancing. tomorrow we'll have a totally different thing. And in law, you don't keep on changing things all the time. So it is a superhighway that provides, it's like a guardrail. We are using this superhighway. These are the do's and the don'ts. And that policy, and Ellen can correct me right, even in 15 years' time, it will be very, very relevant. But Ellen, we were with you doing that work.
I said earlier that even as we developed the policy, we were alive to the fact that AI evolves by the second. Having said that, there was representation across board for the team that came up with the policy. So we feel like we covered as much as we could. And we did agree that we would review the policy every so often. I don't think we had decided whether it should be 6 months or every year, Francis. So I have confidence that we set a good policy that will help us to begin with, and we can review as we go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As we wind up, the last one, you have a question? Yes. Okay.
So for me, one major concern I've had about AI is the carryover of unconscious and overt bias that has been in the various tools. So that, for example, if you Google something, the answer you get is biased. So you find that the thing associated with that company, in this case, Gemini or Gemini, sort of overtly carries the same bias because the tools, the people who've worked on it are the same. So for everybody here, how would you build in something that would essentially sort of handle that bias? I'll give a simple example. If you take your phone today and Google men in business in Kenya, you'll see these nice guys in ties sitting in offices and banks. Google women in business in Kenya. Number 2 and number 3 itakuwa mama mboga amepanga 2 things on the road, and a lady in a shamba with a hoe, that sort of thing. I mean, so why does one person sit in an office and the other one is, that sort of thing? And for me, the people who then utilize these tools then perpetuate this bias in the minds of society, even for the people who handle finances and that sort of thing, because you'll see them in posters, you'll see it on ads, you'll see people, because they're using a lot of this for advertising, that the same thing's going. So as then people who will consciously know that biases exist, would it be possible to start to intuitively either prompt or build in something that will automatically handle this?
Thank you very much. I bring the mic back to this side. Maybe somebody mentioned, maybe you have picked something what they have said, you have something to add, to comment on.
Whoever mentioned me, I may have missed it. But AI is here, it's not going anywhere. Regarding the data that we're using, a lot of the systems we currently have when it comes to AI tools are copy-pasted or borrowed from the West. But if we need them to be representative, local data that's contextualized based on our needs, on our realities, and what's actually happening on the ground. So AI is here, let's embrace it, let's be skeptical. Data, so it cannot be perfect. Let's embrace it, be skeptical, fact check, and make sure we are learning and relearning to make sure that we are keeping up with the trends.
Thank you. Jeffrey, you might have put something from what these honorable members of this House said, and I will not give the mic again to you, so if you want to campaign for 2027, please you have the mic.
Quickly, in the interest of time, 3 things. Cheating, trying to cheat the editor, I don't think it's something new. For a very long time, many houses have had this software called Turnitin, so that even in the 2000s, I'm sure Catherine used it when he was still a news editor here, to confirm that Okay, yeah.
Was technology that the newsroom wasn't willing to welcome at that time.
Yes. So my point is that these whole problem, these new problems might seem new, but they've been there, and as journalists we've surmounted them. So even this one, we actually. On the question of how many people usually see a story before it goes to press or publication, I think technology has come to make a call from machinery and then someone is listening and typing a story. Yet on your phone, so yeah, let's give credit to its due. Technology is helping us overcome and shorten and even acquire a few action when it comes to women and creating opportunities for women. Why? The realities are that there are more men, in white-collar jobs and in. Just asking what is the reality on the ground. Yes. Having said that, this is a beautiful conversation. I would have loved to have ventured into the effect that you see, and their conversations, whether they should be paying some micropayments to media houses, or because they are aggregating all this information from our sites and then giving it as if now to Wajuaji.
So my CV, I'm very proud to identify myself as a gender advocate, and I am a gender trainer and mentor as well. I'm training. And when Catherine was speaking and mentioned the issue of discrimination against gender on AI, it reminded me about a patriarchal society. But we have also said that it's fed information that it then generates for everyone else. So, like you are asking, are we going to blame AI when then it means we have a lot of work to do. One, to get to the point where AI reflects our society as it is, to show what it is that is going on in our society without giving a black out to one side of the society.
Somewhere in the US, I know like Scale AI trained AI in Kenya, but the data that still goes to it is still so it would help if one would get more women into those rooms, more let me say we are Africans, because you saw there's a time was it Gemini was trying to create a general story, so it never necessarily goes to a point where somebody is looking at it and saying this story now lacks depth. I don't think that's the issue, because even before, I remember TVs, I think until somebody was sued, used to have mtu alikuwa anakuja town anapiga picha kubwa watu wakitembea, so akisema HIV AIDS is ravaging Kenya, same picture. I think until somebody sued because alionyesha mmoja I'm not a criminal and this picture has been used before, so at that point, or photograph, all the camera people are told just take the feet. So I guess it's this learning things that we have to go. So because what we figured also, we cannot keep flagging these things as fake. Because what I realized, if one image I flag it as fake, there are 10 others that come in because somebody sees it somewhere for, oh wait. Remain with the 10 people who've seen it or everybody else than me putting it on my platform, which has like 20 million followers. So something that would have gone to 200 people now is all over 20 million. So sometimes I decide not to use it, or we do it like what we saw on the video. You compile a story about it and then show that it's fake. But if you keep picking one after the other, you'll never do anything else in this life, unless it's something major. Like something that is maybe somebody saying kids are dying because of a vaccine, this vaccine, then you have to put it out there to say it's fake to begin with. But all these others, who said what and all the others, sometimes you just let it compile, then you do it as a one story, because you also cannot you'll spend all your days doing that, because the person doing these slop AI videos is just seated somewhere with a cheap thing. They can just keep curating these videos every 30 minutes. So you'll never, you outie your chokesha. But in terms of AI, let's use AI, I keep saying that, and you have to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philip. Before you leave, Catherine is going to have an additional point.
I've had all of you and I do appreciate, but I think one thing we've forgotten is that in all this madness we do, we have a responsibility to our audiences. And yes, I cannot debunk day in, day out some stupid deep fake that has been circulating or is being put out, because for everyone there are 10 or 15. But I think sometimes we can take that as an opportunity to teach, so that next time they see it, they can know. And I think TV is a very powerful medium, because I don't mean even on your digital platforms, it's very powerful to show somebody how we debunk, to know that this video of Murkomen resigning is a lie. This is how you can tell it's a lie because of this. And it may not be a story, it may not be a big shenanigan, but it's one of those fake of the day, and how we debunk it, how to tell a fake. It just becomes a column, and then you're also providing education to the public, so that they are not, they are more aware, they become more. I mean, somebody said it's funny a few of us in this room, but if all of us have a newsroom, can you imagine how many people we can influence? So let's not look at the negative of it and the futility of it, but look at it as an opportunity. And gender, yes, lazima ujue it's biased. No, against women and other marginalized groups, but also against Africans. Thank you. AI is biased against Africans, and I have no apology to make about that.
Thank you very much, Philip. Thank you very much, Helen and Kevin. Let's appreciate my panel. We are almost coming to an end. For me, just like 6 points that I've picked from here. There are many, but for me, 6 points stand out. One, we must use AI as a co-pilot. Whatever that means to you. We must train our teams. We must be aware of data bias. We should not fear AI. We must familiarize ourselves with fact-checking tools. And we must partner, and we must collaborate. And we must develop policies in our newsrooms. And finally, we have responsibility to our audience. I would like to invite Agnes to give a vote of thanks. Agnes will invite Jane Godia from Wadifa. After that, we will break for tea, but before we break for tea, we'll have a photo session. The person who is prompting for today's session, my name is Francis Moredi, and thank you very much for receiving my prompts and responding promptly and correctly. Thank you very much.
I suppose you can all see me. Again. So my name is Agnes Wangangi. I'm a news editor at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. I am also the council member for radio at the Kenya Editors Guild, and I'm delighted to be here this afternoon. I want to believe that this has been a great session for all of us. Very timely, very relevant, and as it is, this is a continuous conversation. It is one that is not ending anytime soon. It is one that we need to engage in every so often, because this is an evolving phenomenon. And like I said at the beginning, we don't know how far it will go. But we hope that it will not get to a place where it will take us over. We'll be able at any one given time to be able to manage it. Right now, I would like to thank our speakers, Catherine, Maliki, Berenge. Initially, I thought this our lady was Kenyan, but again, when I was looking at your CV, is she Kenyan?
Yes, Kenyan adopted.
Oh, adopted. Oh, yeah. So, and my sister here, I would want to thank all of you for your great insights and for your expertise, which we have enjoyed listening to what you had to share with us and getting those deep insights into AI. We also want to thank the Kenya Editors Guild for organizing this session that I'm sure most of us will go home remembering the things we have learned and the things that we are yet to learn, and also for giving us the desire to want to attend another session like this. So if you can organize another one like this, I think we are all game, no? Yes.
In Naivasha.
In Naivasha, the proposal is there. So also on behalf of every other person that has made this session a success, the Secretariat, and I also want to thank, I think, this hotel, the Stanley Hotel, for making it happen, for giving us the place to hold it. I just want to thank each one of you, and especially Francis, for getting the session. Thank you very much. Every other person, please feel appreciated for coming, for your contributions. Even if you did not contribute, you are silent there at the back listening like me. We all appreciate all of you. We want to thank you and wish you a great evening. But just before you break, I would now like to invite Jane Godia. I need to say something about Jane Godia. I happen to be a WIN alumni, Women in News, and Jane was my coach. And I am yet to finish sharing what fruit, the fruits that are being born out of the coaching sessions we had with her. At the very beginning, it looked like a very slow journey. After I finished, it appeared like mine was a moment of some sort of lull. Like nothing was really happening. Much the same way, you know, like when you grow washe, we all know washe, sweet potatoes or doma. You know those things that grow underground. You know, sometimes when you have in your shamba, you have a banana tree and you have those yams growing. And the banana tree, you know, the bananas are out there, they start ripening, and the doma is just there under. And it doesn't look like anything is happening, and the banana is out there shouting, especially when it starts ripening. It's yellow and all that. And it's shouting, and in all its glory, looks like, you know, it could put like the doma to shame. But when the doma is dug out at the right time, what happens? You can get domas as big and washes as big as this size, and at the because it bore fruit. So I think that was my case with Jane. That's a story for another day. Maybe you can meet me behind the tent if you want to hear more of that. No, so at this juncture, I would like to invite my very invaluable coach and friend, Jane Godia. Asanteni sana.
I'm very proud because even Ellen is one of them. Those are some of the good things we do at Wanifra. We help women build their career journeys. So if you're a female journalist here and you've never applied for the Women in News Leadership Accelerator program, please be on the lookout. This year we have 23. Even today they were having their meeting, and we take them through some very good stuff that helps them grow to levels they never anticipated, like that one of Agnes Nancy Agutu. Hey, this one, Madam CEO, Madam CEO is also a winner. We got them win, and there's porcelain. I think I need to be awarded for building these women's lives and making them better. The way porcelain is shining at Media Max, that's a story. Our team leader today, Susan Makore and Nancy Agutu, we really want to appreciate the KEG leadership and everybody else who was present for this opportunity. I am a member of KEG. I forgot to say when I introduced myself, and I've been a long time member of KEG. But this press club, as Madam Edie called it, is one of the best because it speaks to the industry. I know there are many times we have press clubs, we are called to come to the Stanley, but we do not speak to the industry. We speak to other people's issues that are not us. So Susan, thank you so much. This is one of the best things that has happened to the Guild. And from the WANIFRA end, we are really promoting working with associations. Knowing WANIFRA being the World Association of News Publishers, press freedom remains our foundation, and ensuring that journalism is the best and is practiced at the best, that is what we drive. So we are really, really happy to associate with the Kenya Editors Guild, and we look forward to more collaborations with the Guild. And next time when we are here, we hope we'll get a bigger room, and we hope we'll send out the call at an early time so that we then maybe ask for half day and not lunchtime. Because I can see, I knew it would be hot. It's one of the modules that we offer, AI in the newsroom. It's a key module in the capacity buildings that we do around digital transformation. And those who have gone through that training can tell you, like Francis, Nancy, and the others, those who've gone through that can tell you they've really gained a lot. Not to remove the limelight from the learnings that we've had. Learnings will never end. Catherine, thank you. My senior, Dorothy, welcome, and thank you so much. It's good to have you in the room. And the others, I saw many other people that I know who are part of this, and we are just glad that you are able to come and join us. And what do we say? We say thank you very much, and let's make this not end, but most importantly, let us look for Kenyan solutions, local solutions to all these issues that we've raised. Digital Media Africa is coming in September 16th to 18th. It will be held at the Aga Khan University. Try and register. Secondly, we want to make our newsroom safe for both men and women. Please fill in the survey so that we can have the data that we were being told that we must have data when we speak to issues. Please fill in the survey for us as we network before we leave this place. But most importantly, please don't leave before we take a group photo. Madam Senior, we take a group photo before we close the day. Thank you very much. Who are carrying the banners?
End event.
This is a big event. Yes, okay, all right, thank you.
Please take the picture out here.
And there's not you are talking about it. This is a lunchtime meeting. So we need to vote. So those who want a better child, there's no tea. It was lunch. Yes, let's meet outside.
Hata wewe utupige. Nipige kwanza picha. Pea huyu tu. Ama ako busy. anaitwa Oyolo. Kidogo sawa. Ndapo end. Ngoja tu a minute ni end.